We'll open up the room. Welcome everyone. We'll give everyone just a second to get connected here. And while we're at it, I will pop up some housekeeping notes. My name is Luke Zimmer. I'm here on behalf of CUR, along with Todd Wagner. I'll be supporting the technology. If you have any questions or issues with Zoom throughout the session today, please send me a direct message. Otherwise, today's session will be recorded. So please, if you can, keep your line muted unless you have a question. And if you do have a question, feel free to add it to the chat or use the raise hand feature. Otherwise, I will go ahead and hand it off to the team.
All right, well, thank you. My name is Cecil, and thank you for joining us this afternoon. I am the current chair for the Social Science Division. The Social Sciences covers, now that I do this again, sociology, anthropology, geography, economics, marketing. What else am I missing? Social psychology, political science. I knew I was missing one. Political science. Anyway, we are doing this to talk to y'all who might be interested in joining our division. We think it would be fantastic. We have such fun in our division. I think everybody who's here can attest to the fun. We get work done too, but I think we can attest to the fun that we all have in the division. So what I would like to do first is I gave all the counselors who are joining us. So Dee Sams is joining us, Mario Gonzalez-Fuentz is joining us, and Jeanetta Sims is joining us also. I think we've all been in CUR more or less the same amount of, well, I know Dee's been in much longer than me. Jeanetta and I came in at the same time, which was a while ago, and Mario came in a while back too. So why don't we go around the four of us and basically your name, where you're at, your field of research or the field that you cover. And then just as an introduction, and then we will go into, I gave them all a list of things to think about, to talk about. Does that sound good? All right, so Dee, you can go first.
Thank you. I'm Dee Sams. I'm in Milledgeville, Georgia. My area of expertise is in marketing and international business.
Mario.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mario Gonzalez. I am at Trinity University in San Antonio, Texas. I'm a professor of marketing, and my field of special or research is the power of storytelling for, brand purposes, etc.
Jeanetta.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jeanetta Sims. I'm at the University of Central Oklahoma in Edmond, Oklahoma, and my area of research focuses primarily on strategic communication in business contexts like marketing, and then also in leadership and diversity. And I serve here as Dean of the Graduate College and the University College and oversee our peer tutoring and supplemental instruction academic support on campus.
And I am Cecil. I am currently the division chair, as I said previously. I am an archaeologist, so I'm in the field of anthropology. And currently I am serving as the interim associate dean for research and graduate studies. All right, so and if y'all have questions along the way, just please raise your hand, but just unmute. I think y'all can unmute your mics. Can you? Okay, good. Just go ahead and unmute your mics, and this is totally informal. We don't have any formal presentation. We just, as good social scientists and storytellers, we like to talk. So so please just pop in whenever you would like. So I asked the counselors that are here. So I should say our division, so our counselors are, I think we have about 15, and we can have up to 21. So we are definitely always looking for fantastic counselors. So if you'd like to join us, by all means, the nominations are open, and it's a self-nomination thing. So you are, we would love to have you. So the first thing I asked, or one of the things that I asked the counselors who are joining us today, was I asked them, why is it that you first decided to be a counselor? What made you nominate yourself, or somebody nominate you to be a counselor? So maybe how long you've been a counselor, and then answer that also. Dee, do you want to go first?
Sure, no problem. Thank you. I'm actually on my second term and heading towards a third term if I get reelected, not this year, but the one after. Why did I decide to do this? Well, I knew other counselors and people who were involved in it. I'd been to the CUR institutes, etc. I discovered it was a group of great people. They were top quality, and as far as members go, but more importantly, they were people of honor and integrity with a passion for the mission and strategic plan of CUR, and the opportunity to be a change agent within my own institution because of the knowledge I gained from all the other counselors. Even though I have left Georgia College now, I will be sharing the information with the associate provost of the GC Journeys. In fact, I had a conversation with him last night about it. So I just found that once I got it, I knew it was a great group, but once I got in there, I found out also it's a fun group.
Mario?
Yeah, mine is also similar to Doreen in that, you know, I knew other counselors here at Trinity, not only, you know, social science, but also other disciplines. And I've always been involved in undergraduate research with my own students, my own classes, etc. And so I've always seen how important that is, particularly coming from a background in which I was not exposed that much to research as an undergrad. It was mostly when I was a grad student. I wish I would have. And so that's part of also my philosophy with my students. I expose them to research as soon as they can, even when I'm teaching introductory courses. I want for them not to be, you know, afraid of research. And so when I found this group, when I, you know, some of the past counselors told me about it, I said, like, how can I be part of this? And so I'm in my second term. I joined CUR officially in 2019, but my first conference that I was supposed to go and meet everyone in person was the year of the pandemic in 2020. And so, you know, suffice to say that I haven't met anybody in person. But the one thing that I'm going to say is that, you know, even though that I have not met Leslie and Doreen and Jeanetta and, you know, all the other counselors in my area in person, it has been very warm. They're welcome, right? So much that I've decided to participate a little bit more in the organization. I'm part of the, you know, nominations vetting committee, and, you know, as many of my other colleagues also participate in other aspects. Very warm group, and all of them very much engaged with, as Doreen said, with the mission of CUR.
Jeanetta.
Had to find the mute button. So this has really been a journey to look back on the time with CUR, but I didn't know about CUR. I didn't really know CUR existed. And so I was doing undergraduate research engagement on my campus, predominantly through what I have called Diverse Student Scholars, which is the organization of undergraduate research that I founded to engage more students of color, more women, and ideally to replace myself in the academy before I retire, basically, is the kind of mission, pivotal mission of Diverse Student Scholars. And so I was engaging in that activity and just inviting students to work on research with me and working with them on projects, and then found out really about CUR through my provost at the university, and then through attending and being involved basically in a social science division institute that some of the membership and leaders of CUR were doing. So I didn't really know what that was like, but I soon learned. And then when nominations came around, like they're coming around now for you, then I agreed to put my name in and be self-nominated, and then had, of course, the support of our institution, because institutionally, even though I didn't know about CUR, there were lots of people at my institution who were heavily involved in CUR, and the provost was one of those people at the time who was highly supportive of CUR. Our institution you know, basically tried for, I guess, a couple of years before finally getting winning the bid to host the National Conference on Undergraduate Research. And so our institution hosted in CUR 2018. So I didn't really know about CUR, but now I found my people in essence from doing the type of work that I do. And so I am currently, I've finished 2 terms as a counselor, and then I'll nominate again to continue being a counselor again.
And I'm at Stephen F. Austin State University in East Texas. And we're an institutional member, which means like 3 people on campus have memberships and the rest of us never receive emails from CUR. So back, what, 2016 or something like that, my friend, who is the director for the School of Honors, sent me the link to nominate for CUR. And I thought, well, why not? I won't get elected, but I can give it a go. You know, you can't win if you don't play. And so I did. And I had previously, I think this is sort of our gateway entry for a lot of us, is that we've gone to a workshop or to something related to CUR. I had gone to the one about writing grants. And I was like, when I was there, I was like, oh, like Jeanetta said, these are my people. We will go around and y'all will introduce yourselves too, but I am used to archaeology conferences and I absolutely hate them. And so when I got, and if any of you are archaeologists, I'm sorry, but I hate conferences. But when I went to that grants thing, I was like, okay, this is people, not everybody's like an archaeology conferences. These guys are nice. Not that archaeologists are mean. But it was just a completely different feel that I really, really liked. And that's why I keep doing it. I should say, we also have a lot of subdivisions, subcommittees within our division that you can also be part of. And the chair rotates every 3 years. So this is my 3rd year. So if leadership is something that you're interested in, you can absolutely find it within the division. All right, so counselors, how has being a member of CUR helped you in your professional development, your professional career?
You want me to start, roll through?
Sure, why not?
Same order? Okay.
Same order, we got this thing going.
Okay. Without the knowledge that I gained from the membership in CUR from its institutes and conferences, I and my colleagues would not have been able to move GCSU to create our office, MURACE, to begin with, and I would not personally have become a faculty coordinator for MURACE, and definitely would not have had the tools to lead GCSU to an Aurora winning institution. Also, the knowledge that gained from CUR's posters on the Hill led me, along with Robin Lewis, to propose and create the posters at the Georgia State Capitol and successfully market it to the Georgia Undergraduate Research Collective as a value additive to the collective. And of course, none of that hurt in tenure promotion and workload, etc.
What can you explain to us? What is MURACE and Aura?
MURACE is a mentored undergraduate research and creative endeavors office at Georgia College. And what we do is we had Georgia's in a little trouble right now, but we had a $100,000 budget starting in 2012 to send students to conferences, to help faculty develop courses and mentoring skills. We use it to host on-campus conferences, to be part of the Georgia Collective. So it's a massive job, okay, for that office. And then, of course, the Aurora Award winning was just the top of the cake, because that was our whole campus won that based on the work we've done since 2012. But in 2010, we were nothing. We were just a grassroots group trying to find our footing. And then we had some great champions, and we put it on the provost's desk repeatedly until I think she was so sick of us, she said yes. And it's gone from 0 to 60 in, since 2012, and still going.
All right, good deal. Mario?
Yeah, so to me, it has definitely helped me to make contacts with, colleagues from other institutions and to learn from what they are doing in terms of initiatives to foster undergraduate research in their schools. And so in turn, I've been able to, from those initiatives that have been shared with me, I've been able to transfer them or adapt them to something that we could do here at Trinity. So I'm at the advisory board of the Center for Experiential Learning and Career Success that at Trinity basically manages undergraduate research, or at least a large part of what we do as in undergraduate research. And since joining CUR, I've been able to help, that center to increase the number of students and the ways in which students do research over the summer, and also how they present them. So I don't know, it was 2019 when we started having what we call here at Trinity SURF, some summer undergraduate research fellowships or funds, right? And so we have, I remember the first iteration, sorry, it was 2018. It was maybe I don't know, 24 of faculty, doing research with maybe, 2 or 3 students each. And now it has grown to, we have poster sessions. It's not only one day, it's 3 days of, research symposium. And we have poster sessions, we have live presentations, we have recorded presentations that are being played on a loop. Again, it wouldn't be possible if I, at least from the social sciences side of things, with my exposure to CUR and to other colleagues and learning from other institutions have done. Obviously, also has looked great in my CV. Also has connected me with other people here across campus at Trinity and has helped me in my promotion when I got tenure in 2018. And as associate professor, but also in my research, I've been able to find. In the different things that I participated at CUR, not only, in our division, but also in other groups within CUR, found people that are doing research that are maybe tangentially similar to me, and they will recommend other authors or, so far no co-authors, but definitely with, recommendations and things like that. So to advance my own scholarship.
Jeanetta.
Yeah. So this has been professionally a fantastic group just to be associated with and to serve with. I think about if it hadn't been for CUR, certainly in CUR 2018, we did an enhancement to have pre-conference workshops that were interdisciplinary on our campus and that had a wide variety of involvement from faculty who traditionally really weren't exposed to CUR on our campus that I thought was really helpful. So it's not professional relationships outside of my campus, but actually CUR stimulated interactions on my campus that I don't know that I would have had otherwise through working with several of them. And that has led to other connections and continued, interactions with those individuals who served as pre-conference workshops chairs when I served on that committee. Aside from my campus, it's just been wonderful. Doreen, who you see, she and I had an opportunity to do a Marketing Management Association marketing undergraduate research track. That was an additional type of enhancement to the typical MMA conference. We didn't get to implement it because of the pandemic, but it was there and very well designed and was supported by the CUR Social Science Division. I've done pre-conference workshops and some, speaking about diverse student scholars, which for me is in 15 years, believe it or not, of diverse student scholars. This year, I received a 2022 Da Vinci Institute Fellowship that has us thinking broadly about what diverse student scholars could look like in other projects with students. And so that's been great. Tops for me would just be the colleagues. and the engagement with individuals that are in CUR, both within our social sciences division and then also outside. So there are plenty of opportunities to serve as a counselor, but then also either in task forces like what was the Internationalization Task Force, or I served as the a search committee member for our new executive officer, serving on the governance committee, and serving now on a conference committee for our annual conference. There's a group that sort of reviews and assists with that. So it's just a wonderful opportunity for service that I think has been really stimulating for my professional career. And certainly the colleagues, the people that you see are on the grid. I mean, I've been on panels through MMA with Doreen and met all of her Georgia College peeps that I consider to be like a wonderful group of individuals. And so, so yes, I would say my professional career and connections with colleagues through CUR has really been valuable and really instrumental, some of whom, you know, I have on speed dial for different, you know, different needs, different questions or queries.
Good deal. Thank you.
Uh,
So
let-
I have,
Leslie?
oh, I'm sorry. Go
Can I
ahead.
jump in 1 second?
Of course.
I wanted to say that what we do in CUR goes way beyond, because I was
Absolutely.
at a conference in New Mexico for MMA and became a street person because they gave away my hotel room. And Jeanetta came to my rescue and let me stay in her room with her. There were no rooms in the inn. I have never been afraid. I've covered the whole world. I've been in almost every country. Never have I been homeless or a street person before. But that relationship was so important that Jeanetta and I have, and others in this, and that's part of what makes our professional and our personal lives valuable.
Definitely. That's cool. I didn't know that. And MMA is, every time I hear MMA, I think of like fighting, but that's not what it was, right? It's marketing management, right? Yeah. Okay. I figured y'all weren't at, you know, cage fighting or something. Maybe that was something I didn't know. So I am at a regional university, and to say that it has been a struggle trying to get my university to recognize that research for undergraduates is a good thing would be, yeah, it's been hard. One year we had an enhanced membership. 1 year. We also have massive. I think our debt issues are worse than yours. But we have issues. But that aside, I have, because of my inclusion in CUR, I have been able to start, or I was part of a committee that started the framework for our undergraduate research office, I guess you would say. And I am happy to announce, come January, I will be the director of that. And that would not have happened had I not been in CUR. It has helped me see that everybody, I mean, that the global scale of research is just amazing. And it is something that even little regional colleges can do. On a personal note, it did not help. It did not hurt. Sorry, it obviously helped. It did not hurt with, I think mine was for promotion to full. And no, I wasn't on it for 10 years. So it was promotion to full. And then 2020, which made this completely unceremonious. But 2020, I was selected as the Regent Scholar here. So as the top teacher, professor, researcher here. And it was completely unsatisfying because nobody was here. But, and I was stuck at my house. But I would never have gotten those, nor this position that I'm in, because I'm sort of in charge of research at the associate dean level, had I not had my affiliation with CUR. And the folks I have met through CUR, not just in our division, but other divisions, is just amazing. I mean, I think, Jeanetta, was it you and I went with, when we were in DC, we went to the hospital with, I can't remember her name, but she had passed out somewhere in the hotel, and she was another counselor. And so Jeanetta and I hopped, did we hop in a cab or a? She
I
went
was in the ambulance.
I think we went in the cab to the hospital and sat with her. So, I mean, it's not just a matter of, and she's on she's on a committee, I cannot remember her name. It's not just within our division. I think as a larger whole, I think we really do care about each other. That was kind of a weird, that was a weird night, to say the least. All right, now for the closer. What is something fun or interesting or silly or, something light, if you will, not academic. I guess it could be academic. That has happened or that you like from our division or has happened in the division, or just something fun related to CUR in our division.
Okay,
You can have more than one thing.
this is easy, but bear with me because it involves counselors across CUR.
Okay.
Flagstaff, Arizona. Remember that that business meeting? Well, on the way to Flagstaff, Arizona, and the annual meeting, a psychology division counselor, math and computer science, and education, and at large, we all traveled together, along with my husband and one of their husbands. And we ended up laughing so hard that it hurt during the whole trip. But we went through Atlanta, Hartsfield, Jackson, and Dr. Yao, who was one of our counselors in computer science, tipped up his cup and dumped ice all over himself. And so he became Iceman Yao for the rest of the trip. And at the same time, I went to salt my food, and my husband had just salted his, and nothing happened, and the whole shaker emptied all over me and my food. So I became Salty Sam for the rest of the trip. Dr. Chung was so nervous when we stopped at this potty stop in the middle of nowhere in Arizona that she jumped over 3 sets of seats in this van thing we were driving to lock the doors. So we called her Suming Chung Get a Gun. And then Dr. McMullen worked on the plane and in the vehicle. So we called her Workabee Becky. And then Dr. Berman had a broken foot. So she was partially in a partial cast. So we called her Hopalong Berman. And her husband was a federal agent with the IRS. So we said we were going to call him the Fed. He about died. He said, don't ever say that out loud here. These people don't like the feds. So we had to whisper his. But, and because my husband did all the driving, he became the navigator. So what's so great is we still refer to each other by those nicknames. And we tell the story of Flagstaff often. And for us, that was one of the most fun business trips for CUR that we've ever had together. And we've had many.
Now, Mario, you may not have any really good stories because we've never really met in person.
Well, I was gonna say, I don't have yet, in-person stories or of the NCUR. So I'm gonna sound like a millennial with like my stories about like Zoom or something.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, I remember my first my first conference in CUR in 2020, which was like remote. But we had like a happy hour at some point, and it was just like me, from my home in San Antonio, Texas, and then somebody else from somewhere else and whatnot. And we were just, sharing a good time, just, drinking, etc. And at some point, it came to my attention that there were other people in San Antonio too, or somewhere else in Texas. And we started like that conversation of like, oh my God, it's so hot because it was the beginning of the summer and etc. And so there's always, something to talk about the weather in Texas. And so then the next year we kind of repeated that strategy of like doing a happy hour over Zoom. And I gotta say that when the whole thing of the pandemic started, some of my friends, my own friends here in San Antonio, we tried to do the happy hour or whatever and just never worked. But for some reason at CUR it worked, and I was just so happy. And so every year now I've been kind of looking forward to it, but I'm looking forward more for those fun stories in person whenever we're back all together. But yeah, that's my fun story.
So I should tell y'all, we do have a corner on fun. We do have the gentleman who was not able to meet with us this afternoon, James LaPlant, is our social coordinator. We deemed him that. And we always have a night where we all go out and have dinner and just, really have a good time. Apparently, I think it was, Jeanetta was able to go. I was not, and I'll tell you why in a second. But apparently he ended up belly dancing it was the first one we had gone to. I guess y'all went to a Greek restaurant and he ended up belly dancing. So, there's all kinds of stuff. All right, Jeanetta, you're up next.
And that's the image that I still have in my head.
Once you've seen it, you can't unsee it.
I didn't think he was serious, but he was indeed serious and he was indeed belly dancing and it was great. Someone got it on video and it was anyway. So yes, that by far is one of the funnest things. I was gritted because as Doreen was talking, I was laughing because that Flagstaff trip, I was to host a family reunion with the family back here in Oklahoma,
Right.
where people were coming in. So I needed to figure out how I could get from Flagstaff back to Oklahoma after being there, and realized that I would be driving past Sedona. So this group that Doreen just talked about said, well, you should be able to stop in Sedona on your way. It's beautiful. You should see it. You can't drive past, So anyway, so I did. It was beautiful. I was so glad that they had encouraged me to go see that. And then just there's this trip in DC. So we were in Virginia, but a couple of people were going into DC because we had this gap between when our annual business meeting ended and when the conference began. And so I was like, oh, I need to do work. No, you don't need to do work. You need to take a break. And they were right. I needed a break. So we did. We spent, the afternoon in DC, and I just, went wherever they said go because I didn't really quite know my way around. I hadn't gone enough to DC by then. So there's just moments and memories learning about the families of individuals that, are part of CUR that make up the group, meeting their spouses, because in some instances spouses are attending. And so I feel like some of them are extension of my family. They get to know and learn about my kiddos and my family, and doing the same thing with them. So those are the fun times, interesting times. Just lots of wonderful memories of having connected through undergraduate research of all things,
So my story at these meetings is very different. Well, I mean, we all have a common thread there, but I always get sick or show up horribly sick or something happens. So our very first meeting, Jeanetta probably doesn't know this, but I ended up getting food poisoning the first day. The 2019 one, I came with a broken rib and pneumonia. I mean, it's just, then 2020, I had to hop out of to go get a COVID test. I didn't have COVID, but it's been like, granted, I want to do meetings again in person because I'm probably like the rest of you, sick and tired of Zoom. But I dread for my health that if I go to a meeting, I am the archaeologist who never finds anything. So which means I'm the counselor that never comes well. So anyway, but the funny story is you never know when you're going to run into when you're counselors. So last Wednesday, we have an institute here that is it's a new one that we got a big education grant for. And I guess it was giving out smaller grants so anyway, so what I should know this, and it's being recorded, so don't use this against me. It has something to do with rural communities in East Texas and getting them so that they're more invigorated, more up to date, sort of businessy things. So they were having after the first year, this group of folks who got the grants the first year were presenting their information on Wednesday. And so I'm walking around at the different things, and I see this lady there, and I'm like, you look really familiar. Well, she looks at me and I look at her, and we're like, and we're both wearing masks. So that adds a whole other layer of complication. only 2 in the room wearing masks, but, and she goes, where do you teach? And I'm like, the College of Liberal and Applied Arts. And it dawned on me, it was Jennifer Edwards. She actually doesn't live far from me. And she was one of the ones who had received, I thought she lived in Dallas, but she doesn't, not anymore. She moved. And so I was like, you should have told me. But neither one of us thought about it, but we ran into each other and we're like, I know you, but I don't know who you are. You know, one of those things. And we've both been in CUR. I mean, I think Jennifer and I all came in at the same time. So it was just funny. You never know when you're going to run into your fellow counselors. Does anybody want to add anything before we go to our attendees?
Just to encourage you, right? If you're sitting on the fence and you're trying to decide if this is something that you want to do, stop sitting on the fence and just submit your documentation. It's never, there's never been a moment where I have regretted any involvement and engagement in CUR. It's one of the best things I would say that I have done in higher ed is to connect with and to get to spend time serving in this association.
Okay, so now I'm going to turn it over to our attendees. If you will, I should have done this at the beginning. As we started, I was like, oh God, I forgot. If you would introduce yourselves, tell us where you're at. I can tell Martha, I know where Martha's at, and I know where Heidi's at. And tell us your field. And if you have any questions for us, that would be great. So I'm going to go with, on my screen, the first one is Martha.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello, everybody. I love the stories about the CUR conferences. I've been to several, the one in Oklahoma, and under the mastodon foot with several other ladies after 2 glasses of wine. And then I went into the dinosaur land, drunked out my daughter. And then my boss showed up and said, how was the seminar? I'm like, oh yeah. So, yeah, great conferences. Also the one in New Jersey, awesome. And several in West Washington as well. My boss, Dr. Joyce Fernandez, has been a counselor at CUR for many years, and she's a biology professor. Some of you may or may not know her, but I am the coordinator of undergraduate research here in the Office of Research for Undergraduates, and I'm the one that hopes to do the kinds of things that Mario is talking about, which is storytelling, to interest students in seeing themselves doing this kind of thing, but also to let others appreciate, the outgoing stuff. How can you appreciate all the scholarly, progress that these students are making in a way that makes you go, wow, we need this, and Miami has been recognized for many years for excellence in teaching and all these kinds of things. I've been at the university 34 years. I am blessed to have this position and know so many faculty members. My master's is in educational leadership, student affairs and higher education. So that's why I pick on the social sciences people, because I'm not really a quantitative person, but I just joined in so that I can hear others, CUR counselors' perspectives, because I don't often get to just stop and do that, so that if I'm trying to get folks here, because we are an enhanced institution, to think about, the value of CUR, I've got a better idea now that I can go, what, these folks are engaged and they're excited about it, and they're making a difference for faculty in their home institutions and for the other folks as well. So I can see you guys just would be great spokespersons for anything, not just this. Thank you for letting me listen in.
Oh, you're welcome. Our pleasure. Mary.
I'm Mary Ricard. I am at Georgia College and State University in Milledgeville, Georgia. I have had the awesome privilege of working with Dee Sams on a lot of different projects. And ever since I came to Georgia College in 2017, I've heard about CUR and have participated in some different types of events with CUR and reviewed for and things like that. So just to hear Dee talk about it, I just really wanted to be a part of it if I could. I just wanted to find out more about it and see if it would be a good fit for me. But boy, after hearing you guys talk, it just sounds like you guys have more fun than we do. But anyway,
We do have a lot of fun, I will say. We get a lot of work done, but we do have a lot of fun.
but you know, the value of getting students involved in research, it's, you just, you know, it's really exciting to see a change in the students when they get involved in these community projects that we work on. And it just makes you want to just strive for more and to get more and more students involved. So I'm glad I got to be a part of this today and to hear your stories. Thank you.
Thank you. Heidi?
Hi, so I teach in a Washington State college, and technically it's a college, but really it's a community college that has added 4-year programs. And I've been, and I was gonna say that I was an archaeologist, but I'm not really. My background's
It's not
animal.
like Indiana Jones.
My background's animal behavior and research design, but I teach in the social sciences and psychology in particular. And I've been, and I was fortunate enough to get into undergraduate research when I was a freshman. And so it was invaluable to me. And so when I started teaching, I started incorporating students in immediately. And on my campus, it hasn't been appreciated at all. And eventually the feds got involved and sort of promoted STEM research. And so then it became really a big deal on our campus, but social sciences folks get left out of it. And so when I saw this had social sciences as the focus, I was like, yay. So so I was just here to listen to see what opportunities there were for social science folks to get support and yeah.
Good deal. All right. Rhiannon, did I say that right? Or was I even close?
You were perfect. I was like,
Oh, okay.
I realized at freshman I go by Rye. That
Okay,
would be a lot easier, but that's sorry. But as you can see, I'm from Salisbury University, and my colleague Chris Egan was a counselor for a while. I'm currently the director of the Office of Undergraduate Research and Creative Activity. We thankfully call that ORCA at SU. And I'm really lucky. SU has a really great history of supporting undergraduate research, and I'm just trying to continue the legacy as much as I can. I also was a great beneficiary of undergraduate research. I went to Maryville College. I was wondering, it's wonderful to see so many small liberal arts colleges. They're always near and dear to my heart, and even though I'm at a regional comprehensive university now, which I also love. And so I guess I have a question for the group, because even though I've done undergraduate research for a long time, even as a grad student, I mentored undergraduate students. I hadn't really become involved in CUR much until I took over as director in, of course, the middle of the pandemic in May of 2020. It seems to be a theme. And I was wondering, what do you all do as counselors? Just kind of the job description, and especially if there's any travel involved.
Okay, who wants to take it?
Yeah, I can
Somebody
start.
There you go. All right.
So essentially, we're just available for serving in whatever capacity the association needs. We have we have meetings on a regular basis. I say a regular basis, like at least once every fall, once every spring. During the summer, there's an annual business meeting that we're expected to attend. These have been virtual recently and not in a location, but previously, prior to the pandemic, they were actually at the same destination as the annual conference, or at some different destination. Previously, the conference was every other year. And so the conference then and the annual business meeting were at the same host site. And now the conference has shifted to be annually. And so at some point, my guess is that the annual business meeting will go back to being in person as well. But for right now, they're virtual. So we get emails from Leslie as chair, convening us and getting us on a Zoom call on a regular basis, where we talk about, for a while there, we were coming up with a new strategic plan for the association. And so we were offering feedback on that. So there's been opportunities for us as counselors to share feedback with the executive committee. And then we meet and have business. We have a scholarship, we have a host of other things, and I'll be quiet about some of the other things that individuals can share that they've been involved in. Serving is primarily the main focus, though.
Yeah,
Mario or Dee, would you like to chime in?
I'll add to Jeanetta's if it's okay. We have opportunity for advocacy that's really important. I think, Leslie, don't you take a group or send a group every year?
Yeah, that's true.
which, you know, just like the posters on the Hill was, and like posters at the Georgia State Capitol, it lets our legislators know what we need, what's happening, what our students are doing, and can institute change. We also get to serve on task force or committees, and like, I'm on the NOT committee. Everybody goes, huh? But that's for NCUR, the National Council. You learn so much on those committees about what's happening that you go, wow, yeah, because my college at one time thought they could host it. No, we're way too small. We're a small liberal arts, but I'm also on the finance committee, so I have that insight and understand it. Just joined the advocacy group. We're just getting that started. So I think everybody in here is served, and you got like one meeting in the spring and one in the fall or what have you, but it's like an hour on Zoom. It's not your life. You can take on more. I've never learned the word no. So I've got plenty, but that's up to you. But it is a great opportunity. I can't emphasize enough how much knowledge you gain that you can take back to your campus and maybe change, Heidi, that attitude towards social sciences.
Mario, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, no, I would just like to reiterate what both Dee and Jeanetta said. You know, I think it's the service and the advocacy for undergraduate research in your own institutions. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I get more than I give, you know, to the organization. Like in the case of Dee, I also work in other committees. I also volunteer in the NVC, the Nominations Vetting Committee. And you know, what Dee was saying was resonating a lot. I've got to learn a lot about how, you know, the elections happen and about the internal structure of the association, and has taught me how to appreciate more the work that other people do in the association, and it just got me more involved in my own institution, you know, in undergraduate research, and to advocate for the social sciences. But yeah, I think the time commitment, you know, asked about time commitment is minimal. I think I spend more time in other service here in my own institution. More rewarding, I also feel. I mean, I hope nobody listens, you know, around here, but it's more rewarding, the service that I give to CUR, just because I get to learn from many other institutions and that. And then for the travel commitment, I think it would depend on your institution. Like, for example, at Trinity, they have funds to, you know, for my travel for the annual business meeting. Other than that, I think it would be more on a ask and you may receive basis. But they definitely encourage me to, you know, take students to, you know, Posters on the Hill and other, but it kind of depends on the funds of your institution and that commitment. Yeah.
So our division has a couple awards we give out a year. Well, we give student travel awards. So when students present information or research at conferences, they can apply for an award. They're $200 a piece, and we give about 8 of them. We also have an Outstanding Mentor Award. So that is, if you're on that committee, that may be a little heavier lift in that you have to read all of the absolutely fantastic applications. And rank them for me so that I know who wins, or who gets the award, I should say. And then we have, these are the only 2, then we have an advocacy day that we contribute to that you can partake in also. To partake in it doesn't cost you anything, because we actually sponsor a portion of it. So there's that. But as they all said, CUR, the larger institution of CUR, has a lot of different committees, and they want a member from each division on the committee. So like I am on the CUR Fellows Committee, which is sort of like, and they're changing it, but it used to be sort of like the Lifetime Achievement Award. And that is one humbling committee, because you're like, holy cow, I can't believe, you know, I mean, I'm just a little tiny fish in a little tiny pond. And these are, you know, big fish in massive ponds. It's very humbling to read these applications. So you have an opportunity to serve not only in your division, whatever division you're in, but you have the opportunity to serve in larger CUR committees, as well as don't forget that we actually are the governing board of the Council of Undergraduate Research. They're going through a reorganization. The councilors don't know this. CUR is going through a management reorganization so that there's a clearer idea of how reporting lines and that sort of thing. And we get to vote on it. We get to discuss it. We get to, go through the nuts and bolts of it. And ultimately we vote yay or nay. So we actually are considered to be the governing board of the larger institution. The counselors are. So you serve at 3 roles. You serve the big CUR, you serve CUR committees, and then you serve your division and your division committees.
Leslie, I think one of the most important things is they actually listen and take information from us and implement it. Unlike some committees at said university I've been on where you give ideas and they implement what they wanted anyway.
Oh yeah, no problem. We got that. And then you're like, wait, what happened?
Yeah, but at CUR, it actually happens. I mean, we've given them feedback and seen committees I've been on and actually saw outcomes from it. I think that's one of the most rewarding things is to know your voice is heard. And we have a very diverse voice. It's, we have people from other countries, all kinds of cultures and ethnicities. So it's great.
Yeah, so I highly encourage you to apply to be a counselor, whether it's with us or somebody else. The nominations close on November 15th. They are currently open. You can Google, let me see, I'm sure you can Google CUR counselor nominations. I'm sure that'll do it. CUR counselor nominations, Google even knows what I was looking for. And the first link on there is the link for nomination. There are some questions that they'll want you to answer, like, given our strategic plan, how do you see your research? But you can see those before you actually have to go in and type them. It's nothing secret. But again, the nominations are open now, and they will close on November 15th. The ballots go out in January, and you should hear something in March or April, usually. And then the first annual business meeting, they're usually mid-June now. They used to be at the last weekend in June. Now they're sort of mid-June. And they're not, I mean, it's on Zoom, but it's not too bad. They don't stretch it like way out like they did the first time we were on Zoom. They've streamlined it a lot. So, all right. Anything else anyone would like to say or contribute or ask?
Thank you so much. In my role as CUR liaison for the university, this is very, very helpful for me. So thank you.
Great. I'm glad we were to be of some assistance. Because we are the most fun division. All right. Well, if y'all have any questions, please let any counselor know. And we look forward to seeing your name on the nomination list. All right. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.